So we're going to be talking about special permission, which is view all data and modify all data. And users with this permission can view or modify all apps and all data, even if the apps and data are not shared with them. So this is very strong permission, which will allow users to bypass other org-wide default settings and also other record sharing rules. If the records are not being shared with the users, with this permission, the users will still be able to see all the data. And if they have to modify all data permission, they will be even able to modify all the data. There are two ways to give this permission, which is one of the ways to give it via the profile. The other way is to give it via permission set. Before we give this permission in this demo, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new profile and give that permission via that profile. The reason is why we're not using the existing profile is once you give this permission on the profile, it will be applied to all the objects. And even if you take away that permission from that user's profile, on those objects, that permission will still remain, and then you would need to go to those objects and remove it one by one. In order to not go through that process, we're going to be using a new profile. I will explain that a little more later as well. So let's quickly create new profile. So we have the standard user profile, which I will go ahead and clone it. We also need to make sure that we clone the profile with the Salesforce license. New standard user profile. Next, we will go to this profile, and under this system permission, we will give the view all permission first, and then we will give the view all data permission. And after that permission is given to this profile, we will assign it to our test user. Let's find that view all data permission and click it. So once you pick this one, some other permissions will get automatically assigned. Let's go ahead and save this. Click save. Then we will go to our users, edit our test user, and give that new profile, new standard user profile. We're assigning this profile to our user. Now, so what we have done is we have assigned that profile to our user. What we want to do is we want to also go to our sharing settings. And for example, we want to make sure that our org-wide default for account, for example, we're going to test this on account. For account is set to private. And we also want to make sure our test user's role is below than the admin user's role in the hierarchy. So this is part of the requirements we have to meet, prerequisites that we have to meet. And in this scenario, and also if account records are not being shared with the user by any other sharing rules, let's go ahead, check that. So account records are not being shared with our test user with sharing rules either. So in this case, in normal circumstances, without this view all data permission, the test user or other users in our org wouldn't be able to see account records that belong to the other users or the admin user in this scenario. So on this screen, I'm logged in as a test user. So let me go ahead and do refresh, and I'm going to check if I'm seeing all the accounts. So I am seeing all the accounts um, as expected because of that view all data permission on that user's profile. Another thing is, so if I try to, as a test user, if I try to edit the records that belong to our admin user, let me try to edit and save this, and I'm getting this error. That's because currently the test user has the view all data permission only. Yes, he can see all the accounts in the org, but he is not able to edit them. In order to give the edit access to all the account records for our test user, what we have to do is on that same profile, we have to give them the view all. In addition to the view all data permission, we have to give the modify all data permission. Okay, so I'm on that profile. I'm going to the system permission, and then we'll click on edit. Let's do Control F, modify all data. Here it is. Let's select that and save. Click save again. Then we will test this as a test user. So here's the test user's account. Let's do a refresh here. Let's dismiss this. Details. Let's go ahead and save this, edit this, and try to save. So I am able to edit the admin user's account as a test user because of that permission. So this is how we give that permission via the profile. We can also create a permission set and assign that permission via the permission sets. For example, if I want to give that via permission set, we'll go to permission sets. Quickly create a new permission set. Manage all accounts and save. And then we'll scroll down to the system permission. And then what we'll do is we'll click on edit and select the modify all data and view all data. So both are selected. Once you give the modify all data, view all data permission gets assigned automatically. We're going to click save on this page. And click save. And what I will do is I will go ahead and assign this to our user. And at the same time, before I assign this permission set to our user, what I will do is I will remove that profile from our user. And instead of profile, this time we're giving this permission via the permission set. All right, let me change the user's profile back to custom standard user profile. All right, and save. Just because we changed the profile, the test user will not be able to see or view or modify all the account records that he had access before, okay? Because we changed the profile that he had, the view all, modify all data permission. So instead, we're giving the permission to our user via that new permission set we just created. So we named it as manage all accounts. Let's click on it. and go to manage assignments and assign that to our test user, right? This is our test user. And click next, assign, and click done. This should give that access back to the test user. So as you can see, he has the access back. And if he tries to edit this account that which belongs to other user, he will be able to successfully edit this and save. So this is how we give that permission via permission set. Now I'm going to show you one more thing. So let me go to that test user and click on edit. I'll switch the profile back to the new standard user profile. Click save, and I'll also remove the permission set from this user. For example, this manage all accounts permission set has that view all data, modify all data permissions. I'm going to remove it from here, okay? So right now, what's happening is this user still has access to all the account records, but this time it's not coming from the permission set anymore because we removed that permission set from our user. This time it's coming from that profile. Now what I will do is I'll go back to that profile and remove that permission from this profile. Go to the system permission, click on edit. Let's find that all data permissions. So I'm going to remove this, view, modify all data permission, and also removing the view all data permission. And then we will click save on this page. Click save. Then we will go back to our test user and check all the accounts. I'm checking if the test user still has access to the accounts or not. You can see all the account records still. If I try to edit this account record, for example, I'm updating this field, try and save, and he is still able to successfully save this record. So you might ask, okay, why this is still happening, even though we removed those two permissions from the user's profile. The reason why this is happening is because just because we remove those two system permissions from the profile, if we go ahead and check the objects still have those permissions attached to them. So let's go to our profile overview. Here I'm under this profile, I'm going to click on object settings. And as you can see, you see for all the objects, the user has view all and modify all permission, view all, modify all for all the objects. Just because we removed it from the profile doesn't mean it's going to be removed from the objects themselves. That's why we created a new profile and assigned it to the user so that we don't mess up our existing profile. So let's click on edit here. And once the page loads, I will remove the view all data and modify all data from the user's object on this profile. Okay, let's click on save. Now this configuration should remove that access from our test user. You see, I'm testing as a test user now and trying to view all the accounts. The test user can only see their own records, not other users' records. So that's how we assign this permission and give it to our users or assign to our users. And these two are very strong permissions, which they give access to modify or view all data. And as a cleanup process, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our user and edit the user and switch the profile back to the original one, custom standard user, and save.